Day 19, you're back. Beautiful. We're going to get deep physically, spiritually today. We're going to talk about suffering preferences. Let's get into our front forward fold. Build consistency, discipline, and flexibility. We had our first big snowfall today. Not big, but first real snowfall. And it made me think of preferences and how that first snowfall at the end of November, most people love it. But if it snows in April, people tend to hate it. Just a preference. How do we work on those preferences? I have some great teachers that I've learned about this from, and I want to share that with you today as we sink into our simple forward fold. I'm excited about this today. I think this is the key to unlocking our full potential, is removing our preferences. So first, Buddhism talks about all life is suffering. And that suffering comes from desire. So it's our desires, wanting things to be a certain way, that create a lot of our stress, anxiety, and suffering. Michael Singer, one of the greatest teachers. I'm going to dive into his stuff often. I will quote him. Again, I'm just collecting wisdom and trying to share it. Most things, none of it's my idea. It's just great teachings that I think really lift us up. Michael Singer would say, he would just change the word desire to preferences. We all have these preferences. The preference for it not to have snowed today. Well, okay, you can have that preference. But the reality is, it snowed, completely out of our control. And the weather is a first great teacher to help us eliminate preferences because it's completely out of our control. And to spend any time or energy on things that are out of our control is insane. So it is a wonderful starting place to develop a spiritual practice, if you will, mental health, accepting reality. If we can accept the reality of the situation, now we have a starting place to grow, to learn, to try to affect change if possible. Clearly, the weather is not something we're going to change no matter what. We won't get into a whole climate change talk. As on a personal level, the daily weather is out of our control when we get up. Can we look at it with amazing? Look at the weather today. It's snowing, it's windy, it's rainy, it's cold. Awesome. Every day can be a 10 out of 10. I had this chat with students yesterday. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's the weather like today? You know, I gave a number. I said, what about if it was 10 out of 10 every single day? Could it be? And with our mindset, it absolutely can be. Because we're just going to accept the reality and not have a preference. We really are the sum of our learned experiences. We don't even know why we have certain preferences for things. But the ability to break free from them and notice, I have a preference for certain things, and I'm not even aware why. And to move beyond those preferences and start to live with joy instead of judgment is freedom. Every moment we can go through our day going, wow, look what's happening now, no matter what it is. The person cuts us off in traffic. Somebody speaks to us in an unkind way. We face difficulties and challenges, and that's just the reality of life. But if we can look at it without having a preference, so the idea is we don't decide what our day is supposed to look like. We don't decide how other people are supposed to act. The day is going to do what the day is going to do. All the forces in the universe have created this moment, and that's the reality of it. And I can see it with wonder and amazement instead of judgment. Remove the preference. Simplest things to help you get along with people that you care about. Not having a preference for the simple show you might want to watch, or they want to watch. I don't mind watching that, sure. Just creating less suffering with the littlest of things. And every interaction, every opportunity offers us an opportunity to release and let go some of our preference or desires and to truly live joyfully. My preference would be that I could get my head an entire way down to the floor. There was a time in my life when I could do the splits, complete full splits. That time has seemed to have passed. I can't go back to that moment, but I can accept that this is where I am. This is what I can do right now. And day by day, can I get a little bit deeper? Can I just, even more so if I can, that I accept that this is where I am today. And that's okay. It's also okay that I am going to continue to challenge myself, to stay consistent, to stay disciplined in order to get better. I can control the effort and my attitude. That's about it. Even effort sometimes we can't control. We're sick sometimes. Sometimes we're just really tired. We can't always control the effort, but we can control our attitude. And I can choose an attitude of, I can accept that life is not going to go the way that I think it should or the way that I want it to. Life is going to go as life will go. Life is happening for us, not to us. And all this is much easier said than done. Trust me, I get it wrong more often than I get it right. But I know where I want to get to. I know that there is a place to live way, way up here. And in order to do that, we really need to remove our preferences, our desires. And look at life with wonderment, awe. Wow, I get to wake up today. Wow, somebody cut me off in traffic. Wow, somebody's being rude and obnoxious. Can I send them kindness and love? Can I accept that most people are going through their lives in an unconscious way, as I do sometimes also. I'm not qualified to judge anybody else. I can only try to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. Great teachers have been saying these things for thousands of years. Without getting into religiosity, there is great teachings in the Bible that are so applicable today. Jesus talked about not worrying about tomorrow because today has enough challenges. It's the worry about tomorrow is really rooted in wanting things to be a certain way. It's having a preference for the future, which is really, for the most part, out of our control. We can control our attitude in this moment, what we do in this moment. And the future will take care of itself and is going to happen without us having a preference, a desire for wanting it to be a certain way, because it's just not going to be that way. I take care of my business in this moment, today. What I found is the more present I can be now, the fewer desires and preferences I can have for this moment. The future, when it happens, which only happens in the now, is pretty good. Because there's just an acceptance of this is the reality. Find these great teachers that lift you up. That's what I try to do. Remove the negativity, those telling us that somebody else is the reason for our troubles, blaming somebody else. We're not victims. Fix myself first, and then I can start worrying about others. I suspect then I'll never be worried about anybody else because there's a lot of fixing to do here. But little by little, removing a preference at a time, life really does become much more joyful. Letting go of the need to control. That's another. We humans, we really want to get control, and we have no control over anything. We really don't. Remove your preferences, your desires. See life with beginner's eyes, wonderment, joy, not judgment. That went fast. I feel good. I knew I'd get a little excited about today. I really do think this is one of the keys to unlocking our full potential, is removing our judgments. If you've come this far, please comment. What are judgments, preferences that hold you back? How can you go beyond them? Subscribe to the channel, like. It really does help us grow when we want to get out to as many people as possible. We can start to elevate each other to start living up here. Remove a preference today and see what that unlocks for you. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.